A terrifying creature has been stalking the mountains of British Columbia for almost a century.
This thing was twice the size of a bear, at least.
Dwarfing Bigfoot, it stands 9 feet tall with broad shoulders.
What she described was a gigantic hair-covered man.
With the fangs and strength of a giant ape.
Rock throwing, aggression, the strength to lift boulders.
And the eyes of a human being.
And it was looking straight at us, 9 feet off the ground.
Encounters with the creature known as the abominable snowman continue to rise.
I know that it's out there.
But the beast remains undocumented.
Justin, did you see that?
In the vast wilderness.
I couldn't tell you what this would be, but I can tell you that it's large.
Holy crap.
In the mid-20th century, scientist Ivan Sanderson set out to separate fact from fiction. He investigated hundreds of frightening encounters with unexplained creatures around the world.
Our next guest tonight is one of the world's leading naturalists, accumulating material for some 30 years.
As the founder of cryptozoology, he built the most extensive archive of unclassified creatures on Earth.
There seem to be a lot of these creatures on our continent, in South America and Africa, and all over Asia.
But following his death in the 1970s, that archive disappeared. Until now. Armed with modern tech and Sanderson's lost research,
We need to take this and compare it to what's in the archives.
a team of experts will reinvestigate his unexplained cases using up-to-the-minute research and predator expertise.
I've never seen wildlife do this. There's nothing like that should be doing that here.
Holy
Can Sanderson's files lead to an incredible new insight and take another creature from myth
Did you see that?
to reality?
Nobody has access to this. This is all ABSMs, Abominable Snowman.
In the mid-20th century, the ABSM was reportedly seen during British expeditions to Mount Everest. Explorer Eric Shipton and others reported evidence of a large white-haired bipedal creature with strange webbed toes.
So the Ruby Creek one, for me, is interesting. It's one of Sanderson's bigger cases.
This is Ivan's file. He was there. He went there and met with the Chapmans. Look, that's his own writings. This is the incident.
I had the peculiar fortune of investigating an extraordinary event at Ruby Creek, British Columbia. Jeannie Chapman reported a colossal creature, over 7 feet tall, emerging from the shadowed tree line. It then charged onto their farm with such brute force the children fled in fear. The imposing specimen ripped the front door off the hinges and ransacked their cabin. Amidst the destruction, it seized a barrel brimming with salmon, a prize it seemed to covet above all else. The creature then vanished, retreating back into the rugged, untamed wilderness from whence it came.
We actually have a map here from Sanderson's account, and this is one of the details that makes the Ruby Creek incident special.
According to Sanderson, the creature descended from Mount Hope using a game trail, crossing through the tree line before entering into the Chapman farm. Sanderson believes the creature fled and used caves in the area to remain undetected.
If you look at the map, since 1959, when Sanderson first investigated the area, there's a concentration of sightings right where the Ruby Creek incident occurred.
We have to be looking at over 1,000 cases.
But I found something even more fascinating. I don't read Russian, but these look like formerly classified documents out of the Soviet Union. There is a translation of title here. Information Materials Studying Issue of Snowman.
Snowman being the Abominable Snowman.
That's what I think. By having these documents analyzed and possessing this map, we have resources that no one else has had before. We're going to be able to go into the field and further Sanderson's work on the Abominable Snowman.
We'll measure the gathered evidence against his classification index. That will help us determine if this creature is a known animal species, a Lazarus species, something formerly thought to be extinct, or an entirely new species altogether.
We're going to go into the field, try to locate these creatures, and then fit them into the classification index.
The Abominable is an unfortunate misinterpreted namesake. British journalist Henry Newman misconstrued the Tibetan name, which meant man-bear snowman, to abominable snowman. I have adopted the term ABSM to acknowledge both the correct and incorrect translations.
Oh, man!
It is gorgeous up here.
I'm telling you to be right here above it. Seeing the visual is unbelievable. Looks like that's the Chapman farm right there. So we are exactly at the location of the incident.
Ms. Sanderson speculated that the abominable would feed at the waterways before retreating up through the hills to bed down at higher elevations. And I can see that.
That's going to have to be part of our research to figure that out.
They come right here.
To help track down this elusive unclassified species, Charlie and Brittany team up with wildlife specialist Troy Lilly and tracking expert Justin Igualada.
Oh, we might as well get them loaded up and get them ready to go.
We're going to search the mountain for evidence that can help us find and document the abominable snowman. We'll be meeting with a guy named Dave and getting a first-hand account on a mysterious encounter with an unknown creature. We are out there.
We are out here far.
Dave.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Charlie. Thanks for being willing to speak with us.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
My name's Dave, a local fisherman here. Had an experience that kind of changed my life.
I'm really curious to hear exactly what you remember seeing.
I'm floating on the river. I'm tied to a snag sticking out of the water. And then all of a sudden, a boulder came out about that big, right there. 35 feet in the air, straight up, and came right down at where my rope was tied to the snag. I went, what the heck? I stood up, and I'm looking at the shore, and it was eye shine right away, 2 eyes. And I was looking at an outline twice as big as me. It was huge. And it never blinked once. And I blinked 20 times because I didn't know what I was looking at.
So you think it was just being territorial of its hunting area? Because what you're saying could have killed you then if it wanted to.
You know, that thing was down there to get fish. That's what I believe.
There's a lot of resources in this river. It wouldn't be unlikely to find something large along this riverbed. If you're down in its area when it's hunting, it's gonna run you off. What I'm doing here is trying to figure out what native predator it could be to isolate all of that before we jump to the conclusion of cryptids or abominable snowmen, anything other than a native animal or predator.
The assaults that happen here are almost like primitive primate type stuff, like rock throwing, aggression.
Hominid family, white fur, abnormal feet that would leave strange prints where the mud doesn't come up between the toes. Does that sound like anything that you have encountered or would know about?
I mean, polar bears have web feet, but they would be not this far up, would they?
We're a little far south for that. We've had interbreeding where you have polar bears and grizzly bears breeding.
Southern British Columbia is home to the largest predators in North America, black and grizzly bears. However, a new hybrid species has recently been reported, known as growler bears. Polar bears and grizzlies interbreeding was first identified in 2006. The combination produces a large white creature capable of surviving more temperate climates.
Let's say out here we have the hybrid grizzly polar bear. According to decades of reports, this thing has long legs, no neck, which any bear does when they stand up. They have that elongated, and a broad shoulder. I personally can't say that that would be a bear. I believe the same way Ivana Sanderson did, that there is a primate bipedal creature lurking in the woods, and based merely off of the eyewitness accounts, the testimonies that have been going on for decades, I believe that it's possible that it is here, and that is exactly what we're here to find out.
I'll find it for you.
All right.
Yep.
Get it.
I will load you up with a pile of my friend. I got you.
I don't need a pile. You can put it in Brittany's bag.
Armed with evidence from the archive, the team splits to start their on-site investigation.
So clearly the train's here. He's mentioned train tracks in his writings.
Troy and Justin head down to the Fraser River just west of the Chapman farm, where the recent sightings took place. According to Sanderson's map, after leaving the Chapman farm, the creature approached the Fraser River before fleeing into the dense forest.
The description of the animal in this area baffles me a little bit. So we're hoping we can track the path that this creature is using to feed and find evidence, or even find the predator itself.
Come on, Big Daddy. Don't die.
4 miles away, at the foot of Mount Hope, just north of the Chapman farm, Brittany and Charlie establish a base camp in the forest where the creature fled.
There's a decent-looking flat up there. That might be a good spot.
We should set up tents fast because we're going to start losing daylight. This location is a normal, natural feeding ground for any large predator. Are you done?
Yeah.
This is my last corner.
Which is good and bad. The good part is I think we might actually encounter one. The bad part is we are far away from civilization and now we are on their turf.
That's all of them.
So we're setting up a laser perimeter. It's essentially an electronic tripwire. If this unknown creature comes into base camp, we'll all know about it.
There's a good set right there. See it? Justin? After talking with Dave, I thought the best place to start looking for any activity would be down by the river, since that's where his account took place. Look at all the different lines of tracks. They're all zigzagged, and those look a little deeper.
Some sort of feline. So this one is 4.
Yep.
I would actually call that 4.5.
Okay. That's not a coyote, right? No way.
It's bigger than that. I'm gonna get a granule sample and I'm gonna get a water sample. Go ahead and take all of this.
But these are awful small compared to these right here. So something was chasing something. The amount of resources in this area mean that there's gonna be predators that are gonna cohabitate. Usually when a larger predator or something bigger comes along, then we see a lot of fleeing. Something could be scared down here due to a larger predator that's hiding in the tree line. Justin, right here we have a game trail. Look, it's already worn. So if we can get up in this area here and put some stuff in the tree line, we should be all right. Justin and I spotted a game trail. It's getting dark, so we're just gonna camp out, wait overnight, get up at daybreak, and we're gonna start hitting that trail again.
Back at Brittany and Charlie's base camp,
Is anyone from camera awake?
Yeah, Brittany, it's Jake. Go ahead.
Are you guys hearing any scratching outside?
We're not hearing anything over here, but do you want me to come to you?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to try and figure out where this is coming from.
Whatever it is, it's outside of the perimeter.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely massive. See all these little holes? They stick their nails in. This is definitely bear activity. You see all the scratches all the way up? I think it was out here just picking away at this, trying to get all the bugs out of it. Let me show you how big this is compared to me. Can you see how tall that is? And do you see the peak up there where it was digging the most? We're talking like a 9-foot bear.
So there's a large predator in the area. It could be a large grizzly bear or even a polar bear hybrid, but it could also be a primate. Primates mimic, and they might be mimicking other animals and learning from their behavior to apply to their own.
That is absolutely massive. This is exactly what I was hearing. This thing is obviously still out here.
Going up the game trail, we have to be prepared because we don't know how long this animal's gonna stay on this trail. It may take days. The higher up we get, the danger level gets even higher, and that's even further away from help. We're gonna look for footprints, tracks, hair, and really try to isolate exactly what's happening here.
Gilly?
This is one gilly here on the top.
You ready, big boy?
Sure am, my friend.
We are trying to find where this creature might have a den. Right now, evidence points to this being a bear. Bears can travel up to 40 miles away from their nesting site to feed, so we have a lot of ground to cover.
Get on that next ridge line.
Oh, we got a good opening.
We can do it.
That's a good tree. Control it.
What is that? It's a pretty good size, huh?
Scat can tell us a lot. So we can tell whether it's fresh, obviously something's closer in the area. If it's older, maybe something's farther away. What it can also tell us is what they're eating. If you have a certain diet, there may be more watery type of scat. If you have a lot more fibrous material, a lot of berries and stuff like that, you're gonna see the seeds in those berries. Then you can kind of take away with the scat. This would probably be like a lynx.
If you've got scat that's on the trail itself, this is a pretty active game trail. Something big moves through here. The animals travel this. You can see it's a worn down patch.
Yeah.
So whatever it is running this line.
A large predator constantly running the same path over and over again. Eventually it's gonna start to kill off some of this moss and tear up into the dirt. Definitely not human. Got a lot of debris in there, but that's still a good print right there. And that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
I couldn't definitively tell you any specific animal that this would be, but I can tell you that it's large. Troy and I are on the path of a large animal. We got plenty of evidence to point in that direction. What we want to do is stay on that path and get as far as we can to try and get into this animal's territory.
It'd be a very obvious thing to see. So if an animal's 800-900 pounds and it lays down, I mean, you clearly see when I put my knee down like this and I sit, you stand up, you've got a super indentation. So an animal with that amount of weight, you're gonna have big indentations.
I can tell you it's large and it's hungry.